And now for more insight on this, University of Nottingham International Relations Professor Afzal Ashraf joins me now live from London. Welcome to the programme. I want to speak to you about counter-terrorism policies post 9/11. What lessons have been learnt over the past 20 years? How effective have these measures been?
Well, several lessons have been learnt, particularly when it comes to domestic terrorism. That's where the focus has been on a national level. And I think that the statistics speak for themselves. I don't know whether enough lessons have been learned in terms of preventing terrorism. I think there is a desire on the part, particularly of the West, to try to suggest that this terrorism has a life of its own and not to think about the sort of conditions that have empowered this hideous ideology. And also the fact that one of the main reasons why 9/11 attack took place, according to Osama bin Laden, was to persuade the West to not interfere in what so-called Muslim lands. Mm-hmm. And actually had the reverse effect. And what we have seen is that the war in Iraq, for example, gave al-Qaeda a foothold that it never had before. Mm-hmm. We have Daesh as a consequence. We've seen how the Taliban, who were, if you like, the sort of aspiration for al-Qaeda's leaders, have now emboldened themselves, demonstrated a magnificent success there. And so, sadly, after 9/11, 20 years on, the conditions that led to 9/11 have worsened rather than been improved.
You raised several very concerning points there. Just to pick up on the fact that you said you don't know if enough lessons have been learned in preventing terrorism. Al-Qaeda still exists, as you say, but does it have the capacity of a terrorist attack on the scale of 9/11?
I don't know if it has the capacity. Certainly, it doesn't have the desire. Where people are talking a great deal about Afghanistan, of course, it's natural. But what they forget is that Al-Qaeda has had territory. A great scholar in the UK, Elizabeth Kendall from Oxford University, has done some fantastic work. And what she's said for many years now, over 5 years, is that Al-Qaeda has had territory, an effective control in large parts of Yemen, and they haven't used that to launch attacks against the West, I think primarily because their strategy, which was to remove Western influence from Muslim lands, has proven to be unsuccessful. So I think that what we will see, I think, in the future is that there will be much more aggressive versions of al-Qaeda and indeed of even ISIS. There'll be a fragmentation rather than the sort of centralized control to a degree. Centralized control never really existed, but the centralized control with the charismatic leaders such as Osama bin Laden and even to some degree al-Baghdadi, all of those people have gone. Mullah Omar is gone. And so now in the extremist world, there's a vacancy for somebody to make their name. And sadly, I think they will make their name or try to make their name through some horrific, spectacular act as their predecessors have done.
Professor Afzal Ashraf, thank you so much for speaking to us and ending on a very concerning and worrying point. I'm sure my viewers, everybody agrees. Thank you. Appreciate your time.